Okay, we are back, and this thing got put back together. Threw a little bit of paint on it just to keep it from rusting. Chased all the cracks, added a new piece, metal, and basically what I did for the holes, because I was only working off of two original holes. Came over here, made myself a little um, a little what do I want to call this? Little pattern, just so I can take these holes, put it over here. I threw a little bit of paint on it just to kind of get things going, but basically this went up there, or actually this is sideways. That went up there. That was the only hole that was still original, the top one, and this bottom corner. And so that's a new hole. That's a new hole, and we should be good to go. We start putting this thing back together, and cut this coil. We did put a new ball joint in the bottom of this one. We did replace the other one. There's the piece that was on there. That should be the thumbnail right there. How not to fix a C10. But, you know, our channel's not for that. We're just trying to make stuff better than what it was. Now, by no means is this a permanent fix. I wouldn't, although there's nothing wrong with it, you know, it's definitely better than what it was. But if I was to ideally fix this the way I would like, I'd probably chop it like I mentioned before, you know, but he's not planning on leaving the truck for that long. And then again, we have our own projects over there, so we're just trying to get them back on the road. This will at least get them going for now. Maybe in the near future, we could probably do this at his house, or one day he plans on leaving it for a while, so we could pull the engine out, pull these fenders out, because I mean, it's gonna be a lot of work, and it should be just so much easier if it was more accessible, you know, because I'd like to cut it somewhere back here where you couldn't really see it, you know, although it wouldn't matter too much. But so let's start putting stuff back together and see how it goes. Well, today is another day, and I didn't feel like messing around with this today. It's kind of hot, as you can see. We're under a little umbrella, and we'll get back on this once it cools down later this afternoon. But I do want to show you this. I was able to bolt up my power steering pump. Pretty psyched about that. The holes worked out nice. It's sitting on the frame. That was more of a concern to me, was if I was gonna try to like redo this whole piece with like a flat plate. I'm gonna sit there and try to get the different angles and all that. But this is what I wanted. Sitting on original holes, original placement. And I honestly didn't have too much play, because if you remember, like this is weld that I left, you know, I left all the welds. I flattened them. I didn't take them all the way down. You know, I know you could smooth it all the way completely and try to blend it in, blah blah blah. But I wanted the most strength I could to stay there, so I left it like that. Could you made it smoother? Yeah, you could have. But I was more worried about, is it gonna fit, and is it gonna bolt up correctly? Now, I was initially gonna make a flat plate across this whole thing, and then build it up with like spacers on all four corners to put put it out a little bit, but then I'm kind of glad I didn't, because if you guys remember the other video from yesterday, I put some weld around the holes and then I grinded them flat, so it kind of acted like a washer, almost like a washer. And I didn't even build it up that high, maybe an eighth at the most, and it kind of threw this angle off a little bit, and I'm like, dang, I would have just shot myself in the leg. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I stuck to my original plan, and that's bolted up, so that headache is no more. Since then, I have ordered new bushings for this anti-sway bar, so those are coming in later today. And since it's hot, I said, you know what, we'll leave that alone. You know, fixing that frame was more of the hard part. The other stuff's just bolting everything back in. Oh, and I did come across some springs that I had stored away, and I actually have some 2-inch lowering springs, so we might just leave these alone, just give it back to the owner. You know, he wants to drop you 2 inches anyway, so we just throw these on. Those are from the truck. A couple years back, I had a 85 step side white one. I had I think it was a 3.5 drop or something, but I can't find the other spring, so hopefully I can find the other spring. If not, we're gonna cut the other one. But I'm in the shade. I'm in here addressing this, and I haven't even took it all the way down yet, but pretty close. This was stopping me because, you know, if you guys have seen how you guys do these, this takes a special tool, and I don't have special tools, but I do have a tool that I seem to always have with me, and it's my brain. I kind of made my own little puller, if you can see what I got going on right here. If not, I'll let you guys make a comment down below if you want to see how I made that happen. But pretty much I found a screw that was long enough that had that same thread, and then I built some washers that are bigger than that hole, and I found a nut that fit that washer, and I tightened that nut all the way, and essentially was pulling this out through the washers, and it worked out great. Got both of them out, so that was pretty cool. That worked out just how I wanted. And I was gonna take just pictures for myself, make sure I remember how all this stuff goes. The rebuild kit came in, so that kind of shot me in this direction too. So I do see that these bearings are there, but I think the casing itself it's broken, possibly the bottom one. I mean, and there's a couple in there that I see that are missing, so we're gonna swap that out. There is another one back here too. Where are we at? Right here. This one. It's a ball joint. That one I have ordered it, but it won't be here till like Saturday. But once we take this off, I'll see if the main problem is the bearings are probably shot on the inside. Well, I know this one is, so maybe the bottom one's also shot out. I don't have this locking ring, so I think that is what essentially puts pressure on all this stuff. It keeps everything in place, and we don't have that. So all they had was a spring, and then something. Oh no! And then they had this guy in here acting like a huge washer, with another washer thing going on over here, and this guy on here. And if you guys can remember, this thing had like a huge gap right here, and you can see this bolt nut thing. Okay, well that's what it is. So they tried. I mean, steering wheel was on there, but It's way too much now. I think it might have been good in the beginning, but now the bearings are shot out and we're losing a couple little bearing balls in there. So let me keep tearing this thing apart and I'll cut you guys back on if I find anything crazy. If not, this stuff's pretty basic. Just take it apart, put it back how you found it. This guy's probably the only one that's kind of tricky. Unplug your plug back here so give you enough slack where this can come down. And everything's pretty self-explanatory. There's lots of videos of this stuff online, on YouTube stuff, especially for C10s. This is pretty common stuff. This stuff's getting old, and all these parts are still available. I got this one on, I think it was on Amazon, but it looks to be fairly decent. We'll see how it fits in here. I'll cut you guys back here in a little bit. Sorry guys, I had you guys facing the floor, but I had my hands full of grease. I couldn't figure out a way to push the button, but so there's our corporate. The front one, this is the front one facing you, and the back one, there is no back one. So if it had a bearing there before, it sure isn't there now. So hopefully just putting these two bearings in there and putting everything back together, we should be fine. I mean, I've seen worse from these. This one looks actually pretty decent, actually. I don't know. Now I don't know what to do. I was kind of hoping that would look a little bit worse. But there's some that they can't even stay like that. They'll just, you know. But having half of one bearing and nothing on the other side will also make this thing just go like crazy. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll put everything back together and everything will be good. Sure, why not? Let's put everything back. What's the worst that can happen, right? Take it all the way off again. And let's see. Got everything put back together and we have a success. There it is, solid as a rock. Beautiful. Nice gap. This is actually missing that dust shield. That's what it's missing. I was like, man, there's something missing in here. But yeah, it's a dust cover. That's what's missing. But I mean, for the 2-inch gap that I had before, I mean, I'll take that all day. And no wobble. Beautiful. Success. I like winnings. You know, man, but look at all this stuff that was in there. I don't know what these are for. This stuff that I took out from here. You know, I went through all my old stuff, you know, because I put steering wheels on my own and other people's. You know, sometimes you end up with extra stuff, or they send you a kit and buy the wrong one or whatever the case may be. I always have extra parts. I didn't even check that. I'm glad I checked that. That turn signal switch is still good. Well, you know what? Before I forget, I gotta connect all this. Man, look at all this. All these wires. I was gonna say junk, but it's not junk. It's wires. But man, I hope he doesn't want me to rewire the truck. That's gonna be a good little job right there. But steering wheel, it's done. And this was upside down, so I took it upon myself to put it the way it goes. So now we'll put this thing back on properly, and steering wheel will be done. And still a little early. That took, I don't know, a little longer than it should have, but it took every bit of two and a half hours trying to put stuff together, but I want to tackle this, so we'll stop on this, or should I say, we'll finish this, clean all this stuff out, and finish working on that. Alrighty, guys. Sorry it wasn't a how-to video. I mean, it was more of a let me see what's wrong with this and hope that it's something that's worth recording. But tell you the truth, it had little to no bearings left, and only on top. On the bottom, it didn't have anything. I replaced it with the bearings. Tried to go with all original parts all the way up to there, up to the spring, with just parts that I had lying around. And I did switch out this hub. That's actually mine. This is his. This one kind of fit a little bit higher. I think this one looks better, I think. But I'll still give him his if he wants it. Just switch that out. But I think that's more of a sleeker look. I think that's looks better. But as far as on there, it's on there. Call this one done. Oh, the infamous C10 door. Gotta fix that too. Shouldn't have to slam it that hard. Alright, so took out my mess at least. We'll have to clean this up, but that's no big deal. This is the big deal. This is what's gonna keep you guys from having to slam your door. Unfortunately, I didn't check this truck had a full system in it. Full system. So in order to get to this bolt was a lot trickier than what you would have to do on yours. I mean, the bolt's literally just right there. But check it out. Boom. Boom. 2 finger, that's all you need. You shouldn't have to slam the hell out of this thing. But the other side closes good, but maybe we'll just put it on there. So sun's a little hot, but we're gonna have to keep moving. Go back to suspension. No, I didn't find the spring, so we're gonna stick with our original plan. Cut the coil and start putting this thing back together. All right, this thing is just full of surprises. Check this out. Now, you know that I was saying that we were gonna cut a coil. I know what you're thinking. What in the world? Why so much? Me too. I could not figure it out until now. See, so I was assuming that the spring that I had that I found was a lowering spring because of the fact that it compared to this one it was about 2 inches lower, or what seems to be like one coil cut or whatever. So I was trying to find both of these to throw them on. I could not find it. I only found one. So I was comparing this to this, and I started thinking, man, why does this look so weird to me? Like, especially like right here. See, it looks like a heated spring is what it looks like, right? But no. Check this out. This is crazy. This is actually welded on. This is a weld right here. There's a weld on there. Not a very good weld either. I mean, I don't know how long it's been on there. I don't even know why it's there. So upon looking at it closer, I brought my factory one, or my own one, and set it up side by side. Went all the way down, and then looked where that weld is at, and that's actually welded to a factory spring. So this is almost like an extension. So my phone died, but isn't that crazy? This was more like, and this is where I just cut, right? So this is like factory one coil or whatever. You got like almost two coils added to this thing. I mean, if I'm doing my math right, from what I remember, it's one inch off the spring, or one coil off the spring is 2 inches on the body. So why was that spring on there? And it's a factory spring. I mean, they're dead on exactly the same, but that one was just welded on with an extension on it. I mean, is that the reason why this did this, you think? Like that added pressure? I mean, because when this came out, I mean, it came out. I mean, I was ready for it, because these springs, they do shoot out, but let's just say that this one shot out a little bit stronger, more than what I was used to. But wow, that is crazy. I had to show you guys that, because when I show it to him, I know for sure he didn't know that was on there. But we got new everything going on this thing, so let me get back to work before it starts getting dark again. Cut you guys
turn down the music.
Had to turn that down real quick before YouTube starts and flags my videos. But I wanted to show you something down here before I finish up this side. You guys remember how beat this thing was? So the only way to beat something up is to beat it up the opposite direction. So what I did was, oh, this is heavy. Okay, this thing was super smashed up. If you guys remember, this thing was, and look, there's a kink right here. So this truck was smashed from the front. You know, I don't know when, but it sure was. But either way, I stuck this thing in here and just smashed it, boom, 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 all the way until I was lining up this with the bottom of the other side, and we're pretty close. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it perfect, because this is it is holding it in its place, and these are riveted in. But I think, I mean, that already lines up. Oh, you can see a better shot right there. Hey, we're close. We're close, man. You know, pretty close. But that's another thing, that it's this bar, man, that's bothering me this whole time I've been down here. I've just been staring at it and staring at it. I mean, I don't even know what it's there for, honestly. I really want to cut it off, but I need to look at it and see what was the intention of this bar, and is it holding? I mean, what would it be holding? I don't see it. I don't see the integrity of it. I mean, this top piece, it looks like a factory piece. I don't even know what that's for. I mean, is that the piece that holds the fan shroud? You know, it's just, I don't remember this piece. Maybe you guys can leave it down in the comments. You know, these two are welded together, so if I was to just sawzall that side and sawzall this side, this whole middle piece I think would fall. I think. Yeah, but then I see a rivet right there. So that's part of the truck. This angle iron, that's not. I can, yeah, I can vouch for that. But if you guys can see over here, we're all together now. We threw a new ball joint down there, sway bar links. I was working on these two. These are the last ones. That's gonna work out good. That one's good. Did the other side already. I mean, we're gonna put some wheels on this thing. I mean, I'll let him decide on that. You want to chop that off? You go right ahead, brother. You know, but that wasn't me. Or I don't know. Maybe once he shows up, if he shows up today, I know he really wants his truck back, and I would love to give it to him. You know, because I have a project on my own that I'd like to get back on. But I hate for something to leave the house in bad shape. I think we're looking much better. You know, I think we're definitely much better. One little thing I like to see, or I would like you guys to see, is these links right here. So the way that this bar, I don't know if this bar is even factory to this particular truck, but so this bar is not perfectly square. So they were forcing this. Ow. They're forcing this thing to be twisted like this, and the bearing inside it is straight. So I pretty much just slid it on, let it rest to where it's relaxed, and just redid the holes. So there's no extra stress on your rubber bushing. Instead of the other hole's like right under here. So if you can imagine me forcing this thing to twist just to get the bolts in there, this thing is going to be twisted straight from the get-go, and then with it going up and down, I mean, it's just going to mess it up. So that should help. Look at that. The tire's been rubbing on the shock. So, yep. Put everything back together. Put some brake fluid in this thing. Pump the brakes. I got to readdress that steering a little bit because I woke up this morning and I turned the wheel so I could get to this bolt down here, and it felt sloppy again. So I don't know what the deal is from yesterday to today. What would change? What would make that feel different? But I will address that and go from there. I mean, hopefully I put some wheels on this thing today. We're looking good. We still got daylight. I think in an hour I should be done here. I should be cleaning this thing up, give it a quick little wash. Some people was asking about that. The window doesn't roll all the way up, so it rained the first day he brought it over here, so I just threw a little plastic on there real quick just to protect the interior. Other than that, I think we're finally looking good. We're finally on the good side of things. We're looking good again. So catch you guys back here in a little bit. Get back to work.